Somebody had an amazing thing this morning. I was listening to the Sirius XM Rock the Bells. LL Cool J fan, are you?
Absolutely.
Okay. He's a great actor, too. He's got a good character. 50 Cent has a good character, too. And it's Hip Hop Nation, whatever. But Kanye West is on, and he's doing Jesus Walks. And you know Kanye. Kanye's agitation as his proposition. It's a performative art, which means acting out, you know. Kanye wanted to be a child when he grew up. And I think he's very successful. He's a billionaire. Is he actually a billionaire, or is that being sent in the mail in portions? Is that one of those lotto payoffs where you got to live till you're 300 years old? Sounds like my royalty statement. Can anybody tell me how I'm in the Spotify business, Tom? This is amazing. I heard my old friend Nile Rodgers. You know, you like Chic?
Oh, yeah.
Chic is the Led Zeppelin of dance bands. All roads lead back to Chic in some sense. And if you want to hear the ultimate bass player, Bernard Edwards, the ultimate dance crew kind of guitars, Nile. And Nile, I think, is the creative director over at Abbey Road.
Interesting.
Good on you. Top of the mountain, huh?
Yeah.
Good for him. And they couldn't have picked anybody better. I heard Nile sit there and say, and his band, Chic, was a little bit in front of Van Halen. I don't remember, 1975, I think, might have been Chic's, first one coming. And he said, I'm in the Spotify business. I'm in the streaming business. What does that mean? First, he says, I've based my entire career on the 3-year business model. I get a hit, and I think to myself, I got 3 years more. I get a great popular record, what I produce, and I think, okay, that just got me another 3 years. And I'm sitting here in Pasadena at the Mojo Dojo with my old dog Russell thinking, how'd you got 3? For the last 50 years, I got 1. All right, we just got Jump. It's amazing. I have 1 more year. And I've done that for 50 years. This is my 50-year anniversary. Van Halen started practicing and playing in summer of 72, 73. And we didn't have regular jobs at all because Eddie and I weren't old enough to play in the bars. You have to be 21. There were a couple of places, Omar at the Crystal Palace and a couple other places where we were allowed, this was the early 70s, things were a little more elastic. And we would be allowed to pull the amps out, sit behind the amps during the 15-minute break. You do regular 9 o'clock, 9:15 is the first set. Hey, my name's David Lee Roth, and off we go. Every night was Battle of the Bands, which it also occurs to me, because I've been thinking, I'm only in the middle of my first retirement. How many retirements did Rocky have, Tom? You're a Rocky fan. Come on.
I'm trying to think, and I feel like it's at least 5.
I think that's James Bond. I think Rocky has 7 if you included the coaching, where he coached twice. You have to go away to have a comeback. And in America, we love a comeback. Yes, we do. With my dear departed Ed, boy, I miss him. I had a ball with Ed. Walt Disney once said, you know what? My love affair with Mickey Mouse was better than any love affair with a woman I ever had. And, he was true blue. He was not a philanderer or whatever. I got to tell you, playing with Ed, writing songs with Ed, presenting those songs with Ed was better than any love affair I ever had. And some of those songs I think might last forever, or until the last syllable of time, like Shakespeare said. They became anthems. Where are they playing Jump right now? I remember when he played it on the keyboard downstairs. He said, no. Well, we reflect the times. And the times at that times was guitars, guitars, guitars. And Jump was one of those hybrids. Is it a what, or is it it's like the first time Volkswagen shows up. Is it cool? Today, nothing could possibly be more cool than that lowered 66 V-Dub Bug out in my garage right now. Right, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. It also, the rack on top where you put the luggage? That's called a bustle rack. What a great sound. A bustle rack. Even if you don't know what it is, you want one. It's like the one in one of my magazines recently. It said frangible SWAT rounds. Still not sure what those are, but I bought 2 boxes. Knock, knock. Who's dead? You are. Welcome to the Roth Show.
Roth Show.
Red hot. Kanye West says that I'm black, at least half black. by virtue of, I think it's called converse reasoning. He says he's kind of half Jewish, even though he's going DEF CON on Jewish people. I'm fully Jewish, but I think he's merely confirming something in my mind, Tom, that I began to be suspicious of. It occurred to me in bar mitzvah class early. I saw it reflected in the rabbi's eyes. I'm actually black. Okay, Kanye says that Jewish and black is kind of the same, so I'm halfway there. And I like imitating all my heroes, right? One of my great, that's where I'm going with this. I'm imitating all of my famous black musical heroes just for a start, and I'll go for cinematic and film. I think we probably have a lot of the same heroes. I'll start with brand new. You like Kendrick? You like Kendrick Lamar?
Absolutely.
He's up for a Grammy. I've listened to High Steppin', Mr. Morale, and the High Step 4 times all the way through like I did in 7th grade. It's genius. It's great. It's amazing. He's verged into theater. It's like cold reading from a novel. He's hard-boiled. He's got the soft touch. He's dealing with every single pertinent, poignant, whatever, and I'm not even sure what poignant really means, but he's that too. I know it for absolute sure. Pusha T, that is really square down. And for a second, I had to reason out. To me, at my age, it's almost dry means a painting on canvas. But I also know what it also means. I think it's a crack reference. Pusha Ton is the actual name of the kid, okay? A name is everything. I'm reading this. Pharrell, great production. By the way, Roth is Thor, spelled backwards almost. Hey, he dropped the N. I just switched the sequence. Welcome to the Roth Show. Don't go away. We'll chase you. We'll do a takedown. We'll change your sequence. Roth Show. Some of the cities around here sound like the names of people. Roland Heights. What a great moniker for checking into the hotel, huh? I actually, I knew a hooker named Latuna Kenyon. And I learned how to fight with a straight razor from a fella named Roscoe Boulevard. They named a street after him, right? You got to put that. Well, we used those names when we were doing ads for the product, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
We were involved in. Okay, so it's all in a name. A name is important. I keep joking about it, but Kendrick Lamar, if he reverses his name, has a whole different persona that he could adopt, right? Because when he's Kendrick, that shit is down. That's straight hood, right? South of the Harbor Freeway. But if you change it to Lamar, hi. The smooth sounds, I'm Lamar. It becomes a whole different thing. Kind of falls in with Bad Bunny. Have you heard Bad Bunny?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're a fan or not. The minute that sound comes on, whoa, techno boom in the room. Like we were using for these last 4 Van Halen songs. The 3 big questions at every Starbucks. What kind of music you playing? How's your voice? And I can see it in the women's eyes. Are you still skinny? My shit is skinny. What they see is when I go to Starbucks and I stand in front and they have the sign and it says, Salua Wasi Ethiopian, or whatever coffee. It says, Urbane, International, Rich. Well, I'm Urbane. I'm rich. But then it says over here, Jamaican Blue, lively, dazzling, effervescent. I go, well, I'm kind of pretty fucking effervescent, right, Tom?
Absolutely.
So it takes me about 40 minutes always to say, Libra, let's make an indelicate house blend, which is what the California Cooler is. Did we discuss once what the California Cooler is? California Cooler was when everybody swiped as much clear alcohol as you could possibly find and take it to the beach, and you literally poured it into a cooler, a Camp Ways cooler, which if you put the back end up on some towels, you have that little dirty little plastic spigot, right? Mm-hmm. Coming out of the bottom. And this started in high school. This was late 60s, 70s. And you would, anything that's clear, rum, vodka, blah, 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 blah. You pour it all together into the cooler and chop fruit up or put fruit juices in. A really good technician who was expert at mixing it, which was always the guy who owned the pickup truck or the station wagon, would pull up and he'd be like what the equivalent today of a barista is, a mixologist. And he would know, well, I like to mix this kind of orange juice with some papaya. Ooh, this is different. What do you got? Well, there's a little mango. Why, you like mango? That's how he got laid. And you would have towels. Really, I'm thinking of one specific fella. I don't remember his name. And he had beach towels that he would bring out and put so that the back of the cooler was up. And you never had any problem pulling that little spigot. And he sold them in those red plastic cups, but I don't remember them being plastic until, it was right around then. And you bought the cup and you'd fill it up, and that's Camp Waste Cooler. Mixed crushed ice or ice cubes into it. And that way we were literally mixing gins and vodkas and rums and everything. But, it's like taste testing at the whiskey farm. Get 3 into 15, and it's like Patsy's Pizza. Come on, it's all good, kid. Stevie Wonder could walk in here, spin around 3 times, and put together something pretty wonderful. Take your time. It's the Roth Show, like Patsy's Pizza, but more like Stevie Wonder on roller skates in heavy turbulence. Don't go away. I got to put my skates on and chase you if you do.
Roth Show.
Around here, there's a pair of jungle skates somewhere. We started doing that in Van Halen when we were playing places that were animal seating, but 10,000 seaters like Maple Leaf Gardens. It's actually a hockey rink with a lot of seats around it. They would put facing over the ice for basketball and that kind of thing. You saw it in one of those, there was one of those comedy movies. Who's the fella? It was about basketball, and he plays in Detroit in a small team.
Semi-pro. Yeah, Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. I played every one of those buildings early. We followed Black Sabbath around and opened in all those buildings. We played with Journey and opened up in all of those buildings. And mostly we had no seats on the floor. We called it animal seating. You stand up and it's all cement floors. Well, I said, that was at the time it was roller skate time. It was roller disco, but we're not roller disco. I said, why don't we play roller hockey? That was well known to have. And when we went to Maple Leaf Gardens, we all got Bauer skate boots from the store, which is right up the street from Maple Leaf Gardens, which is used for kids training and everything and the days off and so forth. But we had them rigged with kryptonic wheels. A fella named Frank Maysworthy designed urethane wheels. He's a pool guy. Figured out a way to scrape the pools, and when you would coat the pools with urethane because gunite shrinks. Maybe a little too much swimming pool technology, but you can't just dig the hole and lay cement. You got to put gunite so it kind of moves with the earth, which kind of changes. At that time, you would cover it or paint it with cancer-causing, I'm sure, lethal, carcinogenic, raw urethane. And the fella's name was Frank Maysworthy. And one day he said, you can make wheels out of this. You can make a lot of things out of this. All right, you make a mouthpiece out of that, so to speak. And he did. And I don't remember, we used Kryptonics, great big thick skateboard wheels. And that's what we put on the bottoms of our hockey boots. And the Bauers go up and over, and we had jungle boots. And we installed jump bars because evidently we found out there's competitions like jumping over boxes, jumping over high hurdles like horse jumping, whatever, on roller skates. And if you put a bar in between the trucks of your skateboard, I'm sure skateboarders do this, you can slide down rails, you can go downstairs, you can go through all the dirt and gravel. Gravel bikes today utilize the same principle. Bigger, fatter tires, better suspension. Man, you can see these bikes here. These are off-road bikes, e-road bikes, and they're a lot like Beyonce, bouncing front, bouncing back. Shut up, Tom. Vulgar, but never at the expense of personal charm. But sometimes, Roth Show.
Roth Show.
I saw half the world on those skates. That's all we could afford to pack away in our luggage because I couldn't afford to take bicycles. Off-road skating. And we would go designer style without getting any care for getting lost. When we did get lost, which was inevitable and intentional, you call the hotel, because they're all Van Halen fans, and they send out the cleaning crew or the engineering guys or the parking dudes in one of the hotel laundry vans or trucks. And you call them in. And I've told this story before, but I love telling it. I say, where are you? I say, well, I'm between Otish's Shape Shop and Hutch's Barbecue. Oh, sure. Yeah. I'll be there. I'm about 40 minutes away. Yeah. We're just sitting down. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sitting here with Edna. I was wrong. Irma. She says she knows you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, happy family. And he would get in the van, come on out, pick us up. I'd go out with a bodyguard. Out somebody big. Come on. I was Tarzan with a bar mitzvah. You remember back when my haircut was still alive? I didn't look like I came from anywhere planetary. That got me in everywhere. A lot of what folks are doing in the hip hop right now is highly elaborate and complicated and interesting, more often than not, than what's going on up front. The kids who are doing the rapping and the rhyming up front are doing simple couplets, and it's a simple, the subject matter is kind of the same, guns and gals, and okay, great. Loving it up, and, the usual, the basic 5 subjects, just familiar turf. But the backgrounds, especially in material like Kendrick, really developed. It's really complicated. Being from classic rock, there's not much that I'm going to really change in the Van Halen issues. We went for the sonics. We went for the sounds. We went for the mix. Let's employ some of the EDM technology, record with the original instruments, the vintage instruments, the vintage amps, which are now vintage, but back then they were brand new and hotly sought after. And with those same amps and pickups and microphones and stuff, what can we bring that's new? Now we added to it. It sounds a little bit fatter, a little bit something more. I think we may have remixed it to a degree where you go, oh, that's a substantial remix. Today, it's the remix. There's 14 remixes of Lizzo's. It's about damn time. I like the KUTE mix. I'm not sure if that's an acronym or that's actually somebody's name, but I know that so we went for that. And you got 4 Van Halen tunes, which answer the Starbucks question, which is, what's your band sound like? How's your voice, and are you still skinny? Those are the 3 that I answered. So I thought, okay, tape don't lie. Let's take the band into the studio. 60 rehearsals for one show. Some of these fellas are going on 80 and 90 rehearsals. 60 rehearsals for one New Year's show. That's what you're hearing on those songs with Van Halen. It's one take. Every one of those songs instrumentally are first takes. And then I go in with Podcast Tom here, and I sing it, 3 times all the way through?
Yeah.
And then you pick which one. You want the animated Full Gun Maverick? Or do you want the a little more understated gray suit John Wick version? Or do you want the all-star hero Tom Brady version? With Giselle, when they were both hot.
Right.
Yeah. And you pick, or you can mix and match. But either way, it's live. For me, it's either Genius by Midnight or Misery in the sound check. I'm not self-taught. And this kind of music comes by it natural. I'm lucky that I have those songs. You have 5 songs. The magic rule is 5 songs to get into Las Vegas. Tom Jones has 5. Let's do this. What's New Pussycat? What's yours next?
It's not unusual.
Okay. Delilah. Tom,
Drawing
my
a
theme
blank.
song, Thunderball.
Thunderball, of course.
I always run while others walk. I know that's what goes through your mind.
It is.
When you drive out here in Pasadena, he laughs. While other men just talk. He laughs at the thrill of it all. And then he strikes like a thunderball. See, I remixed the shit. What do you think, Tom?
It's great.
I sing it every morning. And then I look in the mirror and I go, bold. James Bolton. You're looking at me like the opening of Man Who Would Be King. Oh, I already did that one, right? Didn't I do that the other day?
You talked about that. The Michael Caine and all that.
Yeah, Peachy Carnahan.
Yeah, Peachy Carnahan.
That's what I feel like right now. Well, that's not true. Peachy Carnahan comes back after many years of trying to conquer Kafiristan. He's the man who would be king. And things did, of course, all of my heroes either fail or die at the end of the movie, right? Jamaican bobsled team. Upside down at 120 miles an hour, came in dead last. It's the hottest thing on ice. That's what it said on the hottest T-shirt at the Calgary Olympics. Those are my heroes. Nevertheless, I have a brand new big toe. Dr. Rosenthal has fixed an ungrateful big toe. I have taken it around the world, I don't know how many times, and then it gave up on me. So what you're listening to right now is the upside of me having to deal with a big bandage on my toe right now, is what I think is called hillbilly heroin. Tom, I'm on codeine right now.
I know.
No, I had to get my toe fixed in. It went arthritical on me, okay? I'm 68 going on 90. You should see the x-rays. Doc Rosenthal saved my other landing wheel as well, so it's all good. I'm surprised that one of these didn't snap off at low altitude years ago from me going airborne as a way of life on the rock and roll stage. I'm aging perfectly on time as far as, rock and roll goes. We live like, 7 to 1, all right? I'm not going to go operate any heavy machinery, certainly nothing heavier than a channel changer or a martini stirring stick, I think they're called. But the upside of this is, hey, all your favorite artists, I've heard it termed that without a little something, and that could be red wine, or it can be downtown pot. And here downtown in Pasadena, we have a pot dispensary that is so digital, I'm left out. I was afraid to go in and get some pot, which is now available to you by your credit card. You can pre-order it. It shows up with your coffee, and it's digital menus and so forth. I had to go to the other one, which is small, and you walk in and you talk to the guy, and he says, okay, you don't even call it pot. You have to call it cannabis or flower. Actually, I think flower was the name of the guy who sold it to me, which is a whole nother subject. But he said, okay, well, what are you looking for? As a way of description, I said, well, I'm about to have surgery on my big toe. So I'm going to be I have to seek couch lock. That's the technical term, I guess, in the cannabis trade, which means it locks you into your couch. I says, okay, I'm looking for some serious couch lock. His name's Flower, or could have been. He says, well, okay. To what degree? I said, well, for example, I want to watch the first 2 Godfathers back to back. The third one's good, but the first 2 back to back and only get up to P1s. He says, I know exactly what you need. Yeah, and it's very effective. But I'm mixing it with what the doctor gave me, which I only get. I'm the son of a doctor. I have an eminent respect for everything besides flower. Not as far as participation. Singers gotta sing. Boy, the first time I heard that was in the club days. You're using your insides as well as your outsides. You know who's got it easy is the piano player. Even the guitar players are dragging around, 14 pounds of gear and strap and cordless transponder and the weight of the chord Yankee and everything. It's a big deal. Guitar players throw their shoulders, their neck bones out, etc. The keyboard player can be a flat-out stone junkie. Put your sunglasses on at night and you move your fingers like this. So you can't even hear it. It's so minimal. Me, everybody can imitate me, especially after 3 shots of Patron. Okay? So just think of it as what happened to me. Actually, a few other nights ago, we were at the studio out at Henson, and you were looking at me a little funny. This was pre-surgical. I was a few weeks before. And Tom said to me, Dave, you look a little you look ebullient. You look like you're having a good time in there. But a bit nonlinear. What happened? I said, well, it's getting cold. We just had daylight savings time change. And here it's really dark when I get up, And I got up in the dark, and I thought I took 2 Advil and a glass of water, and I accidentally, like getting dressed in the dark, I took 2 painkillers and 3 shots of Patron. And that's why my socks don't match. My lawyer says I can't remember some of the other story. I misspoke. I'm going to run for office. Actually, hold on. There's a guy at the door with a hammer. I just have to run, like in general. Today, Tom, I listen to all the channels. I love Fox Nation. I love MSNBC. I listen to Cavuto. I listen to Rachel. I listen to the BBC. I listen to Bloomberg. Whatever. It's like 1930s. I sit, I draw, I paint, I do, whatever it is I do, but I have all those on variously. I'm ping-ponging back and forth. Today, when it says, are you going to run? It means 4 things. Yeah, I'm going to run for office. And then ultimately, if I'm successful, I'll end up running from a guy with a ball-peen hammer. All right. Don't try and comedy, right? Try and run my pocket. It's a good term, right? It's a hip-hop term.
experiencing the Roth Show. Never before in your life have you ever felt so filthy, ashamed, and completely alive.